Hello, welcome to Star Wars Spelt Out. I'm your host, Josh Chapman, and today, oh man, we've been having this lovely little break after Book of Boba Fett. Nothing's been going on. And then I stopped and I realised, I'm like, we're up to episode 150. I can't just drop episode 150 like it's nothing. I have to wait for some royalty to come on. I have to wait for something exciting to happen. And as you remember, when we had episode 100, we had Darren Hayes from Savage Garden as our guest. So I'm assuming that our guest is going to do some singing for me right now. But let's get him on. From the Bad Motivators, Luke Cruser. How you going, man?
Oh,
beautiful.
Don't let me down. Hi, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, man. All that Beatles has paid off right there.
Yeah. I was like, what? I shit on a Paul, but I don't know why. But don't let me down came because I was letting you down. So.
Yeah, just like in the back, just like don't let me down.
Exactly. Yeah. If I was gonna, if our time frames were switched, maybe I would belt it out. But I can't quite do that now.
That's right. My partner she's in her office across the hallway, but she can't hear anything. That's all right. She's like the world. She's like the world's loudest typer. But we worked from home for about 2 days, and we got to study. I'm like, you got to go. This ain't working.
You got to get out of here.
She bashes that thing like it's nobody's business. So I can still hear her typing from like there's a door and then a hallway and then another door, and I can still hear her bashing in there.
What she got like a mechanical keyboard, or
I don't know.
just her raw power?
I was like Googling like the day 2. I was Googling like quiet keyboards. What's the quietest keyboard brand? Do they exist? Have they got like soft? Anyway,
soft. They do, I think, but I think it screws up your typing per minute.
Yeah, exactly. I had to look back. I was looking back in the archive, and I'm like, when was Cruiser on the last time? And I know you've been on, and it was about February 2019. No, 2020. February 20.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was March because I went back and looked too. It was like the very start of the pandemic.
Yeah, like the artwork's literally like a person like in full PPE with a mask on, and I think we're just going, wouldn't it be hilarious if you had to wear a mask to Star Wars Celebration and all this stuff?
Turns out you do.
Yeah. Well, as of today, I'll be curious to see how that. I think you guys touched on that. I think it's.
We did.
I think it'll.
Yeah,
be...
no, we did, but Eric looked into the liner notes and it says against the rules, and then it says no hugging and no handshaking. He's like, so it's against the rules to not hug or not shake hands. So I guess we got to desperately go hug people and shake hands. So we don't want to get kicked out.
I'll be all right with that. Yeah, look, I think it'll be. A lot can happen in a few months, as we know here. And as I sort of said a few days ago, man, I lived in Melbourne, the world's most locked down city. Masks is a walk in the park, mate. We don't do masks. We barely do masks anywhere now. Masks are pretty much gone. But hey, if that's what they want to do, I can walk that line. That's fine with me.
Yeah, well, I'm not going.
I know you'll be in your podcast room, just watching the stream. And I'm sure there'll be a bit where it's like, we're 2 hours in trying to get into the building here to check everybody's vaccination status. You'd be sitting there with a big bag of chips going, vindicated.
No, I have another reason why I'm vindicated for not going to that, and that's getting to see our boy Paul. So like literally the day after Celebration is over is when I'm gonna go see him. So I couldn't quite validate one, not having a job, and 2, going to Celebration, fly in there into LA of all places, and then come back like, let's go to see Paul McCartney.
he's late 70s. He's not going to be around forever. Yeah. We'll circle back around to Paul, but I want to just touch on a couple of things on Bad Motivators. Now, okay. I don't want to be a stick in the mud. I don't want to talk your podcast down because I love you guys, but
by all means,
who got what? is the saddest shit going on around in podcasting these days.
It is. It is.
It's like, I know the realities of the world the last couple of years and things have changed, but three guys like living in a theater of their mistakes and regrets, of like just like constantly reminded of the perceived mistakes that they've made, and they're living with these consequences.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it was coming, you know, as the mounds of plastic were building, we knew eventually it'd be like, there's going to be a day, there's going to be a day we regret this, but it's not this day. You know what I mean? That's kind of
we just assumed that one day the whole pile would topple on top of us and bury us alive, and that's how we'd go out. Not this slow sort of like looking around and
yeah, or like having like a change in interest and like wanting to have something besides Star Wars in here. But when you collect the amount of stuff that we did, like, you kind of have no choice but be surrounded by it. So like, which was fine for a long time, but now it's like, I have to have something else in here. You know, like I got the bass back there now, so that's something different. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like. No. That's about it. But the rest of it, Star Wars. I got a couple of Ninja Turtle things. That's about it.
I got a few. Like, I got a little desk. You can't sort of, the camera's not quite. I can angle the camera. There's sort of a shelf over there.
Oh yeah, the shelf. I know the shelf.
The shelf.
You mentioned the shelf many times.
So I mean, it's already a bursting point. So there's already a little pile of like not as loved stuff that's down the bottom. And I slowed buying like right down. Like I barely get anything now, but I am trying to complete the blue stripe and the orange stripe collection, because I sort of got this. I got this great sort of sale a few years ago where I got a whole bunch of them really cheap, and I thought, all right, well, I'll try and plug the gaps, and I've been going through all of that. Oh, which reminds me, I've got another bone to pick, not to you, but to your co-host.
Which one?
Dallas Wood, if you're listening. Why would you be? But you might be. That a few weeks ago he's like, oh, bro, I'm selling my Black Series. If anybody wants, hit me up, but give me old DM, and I messaged him like, dude, I've got 4 of these orange blue stripes outstanding that I need. Like I've got like Leia, Boosh, blue stripe Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, and like some clone trooper, and they're the 4 I need. Like, have you got any of those? Because if you come to Celebration, put them aside, and I'll get it off you. He's like, bro, Boba Fett. I've got that. Like, no problem. I'll do that. And then I was driving this morning back from dropping my child off at child care, and Dallas literally goes, oh, the Boba Fett, I sold that. And I'm like, oh, he's going to say, I'm putting it aside for Chapman at Celebration. He's like, no, I got $90 for it. Some guy, like, that was easy. I moved it. I'm like, dude.
Betrayal.
Forgot about me like I was nothing.
I'm sorry, my friend. I wouldn't do that to you.
That's okay. I'll be able to get it. I'll be able to get another one, I'm sure.
For about $300. No big deal.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Like the two of them, it's getting to a point where it's like these last chase ones. But I'm just if I get them done, I can rest easy.
To be honest with you, the only blue stripe one I have is the prototype Boba Fett. That's the only one I have.
Yeah, I got him. A lot of them are them slowed. Like they're not moving as well here. Like they are cheaper. I got Darth Maul for $50 Australian.
Wow.
And that was over 120 for ages and ages and ages.
Are you sure it's the legit one?
Yeah. I checked. Yeah. No, it's all, this. You're a designer. It's all about the font. The font at the bottom, it's got to be thicker. It's got to be bold. That's usually the giveaway. So, no, I checked.
Man, have the eyes of the designer. It's always a benefit.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway, thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing, Dallas. So I'll take that up with you at Celebration.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. God damn it. I should have known better.
Just kick him right in the balls and tell him I told you to do it, and he'll be like, "Oh, of course."
I deserve that.
Or just bear hug him, and break his other rib.
I was gonna say just bear hug him and get him thrown out of Celebration together because we're hugging. But like, hey. We said no hugging. He said no. You said no hugging, Your Honor.
No, you said you need to. You like bring the documentation to court. See, it said not allowed, not hugging.
Yeah. My attorney, Eric Struthers, attorney at law.
Yeah.
Told me that it was all right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm still pretty I know that, like yourself, you can't make it, and there's people who can't make it, and for whatever reasons and things, but. there's still a quiet determination of the Australians here that can still get there, that will get there, just given that, the years that we've had, we haven't been able to go anywhere, and we've had all this lockdown and everything. So I think there's still a, like, as it gets closer, it's like, we're gonna stick to the plan until anything could happen. Anything could happen. But
bro, what do you have, like insurance on everything, just in case you got to back out last minute? Like are you just hoping for the best?
The Airbnb, we've got till the 25th of April to get all our money back, and then I think like a week before you can get half of it back. But like for the last one, we had it booked. We had it booked for 2019, and we got it all back just because we waited for them to officially be like, "Hey, we can't." I never cancelled it. They were like, "Hey, you can't do it. Here's your money back," kind of thing. So I remember like just holding out and waiting for them to begrudgingly be like, "Oh, here's your money back," I guess. The flights are on credit, so I can get that. So that should be okay if that falls back. So that's sort of the two big things. Obviously, the ticket. Like once the event's gone, like I won't get the ticket money back, but that's all right.
But I mean, like if you decide like a month before, like, oh, look, this is not going to happen, then you could probably still sell your ticket at least.
Yeah. So, well, I've actually still got I've still got a hotel booked as well that I haven't gotten rid of. So I booked a hotel when the accommodation opened up. After sort of the last thing happened, I booked, like, Catherine Neen, who and I were like, well, we should try and get hotels because I think there's no cancellation fee. So at least we can get that and know it. The worst case scenario, we'll have a hotel. If we can't get an Airbnb and it's too hard, there's no cancellations and blah, 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 blah. So I'm in like the celebration block of hotels still. I've got like 3 nights. But it's literally like the night of the day. So it's only like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you get there the day before, or you stay the day after, or even that night you don't have the hotel, it's only those nights in between. So
that seems a little inconvenient.
Yeah, and it's still like $300 a night or whatever it was. So we just got them, but there's like, you don't get charged anything until the day you check in. And I think I've actually changed credit cards since I booked with that credit card anyway. So they'll never find me.
Not good anymore anyway.
I'll just cancel it leading up. So I don't know if I can transfer it. If because there's always that rush before celebration and people decide to go and they can't get a place to stay. But I think that kind of hotel you can't just transfer over. I think I'll just have to call up and I'll just hand it over.
No. And speaking of that, before we get into other stuff, I want to say thanks for being a stand-up guy, unlike Dallas Wood, and offering me a spot in your Airbnb if I had decided to go. I really appreciated.
No problem.
I appreciated knowing that I had a nice, calm place to go. So.
Well, it's only like it's quite a spacious place. It's just there's like only 3 double beds, so there's not like a bunk. Yeah. When we were in Chicago, we had a room that had like 2 bunks in it, so we could have stuck. Yeah. So I was like, well, if you bring a mattress or something. But the thing is now, because Kenobi's coming out the 25th, like the day before, like 2 days before celebration or whatever. We're in discussions of going, well, shit, should we just try and fly in a little bit earlier and watch it there? Because in Australia, you can take a flight sort of at 9 p.m. at night to get there the morning of that day you left, or you can go in the morning the next day and show up in the evening kind of thing. So it's sort of like if I take the 9 p.m. flight in Australia, I'll get there in the morning of the day that Kenobi drops. So I'll be there for the day. So I've just got to see if I can get the accommodation for the extra day and find out, if anything's happening. So Raj from the Sith List and I, good old Raj, have been talking about, well, is anything happening? You guys going to watch it somewhere? And, it's still going to be midnight. And I said, well, no, if I can get the house a day earlier, we'll have an empty house with no kids, no families, you don't have to try and sneak a bunch of people in at midnight for people to watch, because Raj has got a family and everything. He doesn't want everybody hanging around his house. So we're just working through the details of that at the moment, whether that happens. So
yeah, no, that's cool. Oh, and I didn't say it, but happy 150th. I didn't say that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long it's been since your last episode. I know you're kind of staggering them out these days, but like that one, 150 is a big deal. If for some reason 150 felt bigger than me than 100. I can't really describe why. I don't know why. I know it's a bigger number, obviously, but like it just like I don't know. You had the 50 in there. It sounds more metal than 100. You know.
Well,
so.
50 is like, oh, we're actually legit, because you never know whether you're going to make it to 50 when you start these sort of things.
Yeah.
And 100 feels like, oh wow, we actually achieved something. Yeah, 150 is weird because the podcast's been so sporadic in the last 2 years because of lockdowns and working from home and kids starting school and everything else. And then
lack of Star Wars news.
Well, there's that too, and just that. And then like Book of Boba Fett came out, and I started doing an episode a week because I had my cousin Eli came on, and we would do a wrap every week. So all of a sudden we just shot from 140 something to 150 quite quickly, and then I just sort of nothing happened, and I just stagnated. And I know we touched base a few times about doing something, and I'm like, oh look, I'll get to it. I'll do it, and we were going to do it last week. And then all of a sudden that Kenobi trailer dropped. And I thought, wow.
Perfect.
I'll hit up Cruiser and see if he's still up for it. And like, if we can hit this perfect little time window.
It comes out the day our podcast drops.
I know.
Monday.
I listened to you guys today.
So cool.
Well, that's what I thought. I'm like, well, Cruiser, given the chance, he'd like to talk about it rather than wait for a week of discourse to happen.
Yeah, it'd be much better to talk about it with an actual human than like do like a Patreon episode or something like by myself, because I am not good by myself. So
I've never done the by myself. I feel like
I did a solo twice. Yes, it's weird.
I feel like Krusty in that episode where he locks himself in the shed and he's performing the Krusty show by himself, like over like emergency TV or whatever. Like he's like that'll just be me after about 5 minutes. Not be going nuts.
Yeah, it's weird. Like you feel like when you start, like, okay, I can just talk about this and that and this and that, but then you realize how much you rely on bouncing off somebody else just to keep the conversation going, to make people, because when you have when it's just yourself, it feels like a news broadcast. Whenever you're with somebody else, it feels like you're having a conversation and people who listen to it can relate, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah. As soon as I find myself going, oh shit, what else? You know what I mean? Like, then I'm like, I'm stuffed.
What's next?
Like people, like somebody like Chris Fresh is really good at it. When he does them, I find them quite compelling, and he can kind of do it. But I'm just like, I would rather skip than I would rather put nothing out. I don't think anybody wants to hear my ramblings by myself.
I'd listen.
Thanks, mate. All right. Well, we'll test that. We'll test that out. Let's talk. Like, you know what? Kenobi can wait. Let's park Kenobi. Let's come up to it, because I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, and I was like, Cruiser, come on, dude. You're like, well, as long as I get to talk about Paul McCartney, like, I'll do it. Like, that's. You mentioned before that you've been on your Beatles journey.
Yes.
And you've been reviewing all the albums and stuff. Like, I know, like, what's the biggest thing that's changed from when you started from now? Like, have you got a bigger appreciation for something you didn't have when you started, or at the end of you sort of like gone, oh shit, that?
It's honestly, yes. What it's done is that it's made me revisit classic music. Like the staples of modern music. You know what I mean? I kind of I didn't shun it, but I just you kind of feel like you've heard it. And that's kind of how I was with the Beatles. I felt like via osmosis I'd heard all the Beatles had to offer, and it was very wrong. Like they're not playing those entire albums. Like they're not playing Glass Onion on the radio.
No,
you know what I mean? So like, they're not playing "Oh Darling" on the radio, and those are some of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. Now, and it's kind of like, you know what I mean. And I know those aren't the songs people think of when they think the Beatles, or like you talk to Beatles fans.
Yep.
Those aren't those two songs don't come up much in conversation, but I fucking love those songs so much. Like I can sing myself all the time, and so yeah, I see an overall appreciation for like the music the music that inspired the musicians we have today. And I've gained a lot of respect overall for Paul McCartney and his bass playing skills, because Jesus, I just never realized. I never paid attention to what he was doing back there. Just he's going nuts sometimes.
Yeah, and it almost like I've got a Hofner bass like you used to have, and I'm a lefty as well, so I always felt more compelled to, and I can fumble my way through some stuff, and then I'll watch like a YouTube of someone like play along with like this, and it's just like boom, 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 he's doing Hey Bulldog, it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, okay, I've got that bit, dum, 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 and he'll go, I'm like, well, let's see if we can find something else that's a little bit less complicated on this. Let's go back.
Yeah, well, at least I got the Hey Bulldog riff. That's all that matters. That's what you can do at parties.
Yeah. Exactly. That's all you need to hear. Thank you. All right. No one wants to hear the first one.
I'm out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, my favorite record is the White Album, and that's probably the one that has it doesn't really have any of the hits on it. It's not an album of hits. I don't even think. I'm just trying.
It's got Revolution.
It's got Revolution on it. Which, and even that's not even the single.
Back in the USSR, it was pretty popular.
Yeah.
I don't know about I don't know. Was Helter Skelter big at all?
I mean, they're all around, but they weren't. They're not. Yeah. It's not that goes on. Like you said, it's not the one that goes on the compilation. Like "Cry Baby Cry" is my favorite song on that record. Like I love that song.
Yeah.
And then you've just got like Revolution 9, and people are always like, well, they should have taken Revolution 9 off and put Hey Jude on, and why was that one down there and that? But it's like, well, it's the nuttiness of it. It's the sum of its parts. You don't even have to listen to it. It just has to be there because it's part of the story of the record,
No, I'm with you on the White Album, love. Because I held off listening to it because everybody was like, oh, it's beautiful chaos. It's a mess. It's kind of all over the place and whatever. And I was like, all right, well, I'll get to it, and that's why it's taken us so long on our Patreon shows to like get to it because. But since like episode 2, it's all I've been able to talk about is the White Album, and like I'm sorry to talk about the White Album again, but like I didn't realize this until when we recorded our first episode. We're just going to be multiple episodes of the White Album. We covered the first 8 songs, side A of disc 1 or whatever, and it is chaos, but it's such a creative explosion, and also I didn't realize how contentious it was for them when they were doing that album. I didn't know, and then Tom was because to me, listening to that album, it feels like they had a great time recording it just because of the way the songs go, and the way and the things they're playing, and like all the random bits that are kept in there, and but like Tom was like, I don't think they had as good a time as you think they did. I was like, well.
But it's actually they've
been doing something good.
It's a really well-produced record as well. Like there is actually quite a high, because people go like, oh, it's the ramshackle, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it's actually quite a slickly produced record, especially if you listen to the anthology stuff, like the demos and all that kind of thing. And I was quite funny because when I got in, we'll get to Kenobi, don't worry, everybody. Like I listened to those anthology records a lot when I was younger, when they came out in the 90s. And I knew the White Album really well because we had it on cassette, and it was like the long car ride album. Because you could, there's 2 sides, there's a bunch of it. So, but out like Abbey Road particularly, and I think maybe even some of the Magical Mystery stuff, probably not Pepper, but like Revolver and things. I knew the anthology versions of those before the album versions. Like because you only had so much money to buy CDs, and I was like 16, I had no money. So I knew those sort of rougher version of those songs. So I remember when I finally heard the records, I was like, oh man, this is so like slickly produced. It's all like, but it's cool.
And it wasn't overdone like what was it? Let It Be with Spectre. He really like bumped up that stuff. And I much rather enjoy the naked version of Let It Be than before.
Well, it's got Don't Let Me Down on it, so that instantly makes it a better record.
But I mean, you don't need all those songs didn't need all of that stuff they put over top of them. And I know a lot of people enjoy it, and that's fine. I mean, I do too. But like, if I have my choice, I listen to the naked version. But I'm with you. Like as far as like the albums I've enjoyed the most, it's been the White Album by far, and Abbey Road and Revolver, but I like Let It Be, but it feels like it's it feels like an add-on. That's what it feels like. It feels like it feels like a compilation of other songs they were going to do for an album that didn't make it.
Especially when you watch the making of more and so many like ideas being thrown at the wall and stuff like that. But all right, people are like, tell me the fucking cock about Obi-Wan, you bastard.
Hey man, it's the Beatles. Respect them.
I didn't see this trailer coming at all for Obi-Wan. I'm not on Twitter as much as I used to be, but I didn't get any inkling that this thing was even coming. And I kind of just thought that it would come out the week before the show came out. Like I didn't even like.
Yeah, per usual.
Yeah.
No. I was playing some Xbox with Les Gonzalez last night, and from the Sith List. Yeah, he's a great dude. Love that Les Gonzalez. He said something about it. He goes, there's going to be a Kenobi trailer tomorrow or something. I'm like, first I've heard of it. And apparently it's been rumored around forever because I'm not on Twitter like I used to be either. And I'm also not following nearly as many people as I used to either. But he's like, yeah, that's a rumor. And then they came out with those images and stuff. So like, but yeah, when the trailer came out, I was surprised, and then I wasn't so surprised given all the controversy Disney's under right now. It's kind of a good, distraction for them.
Yo.
Yeah. Hey, look at him. It's you, and isn't he pretty? Yeah.
It dropped overnight in the States. It's weird because sometimes we get. It just like I seem to remember a lot of the other Star Wars trailers because they air them with like your football or like Monday Night Football or whatever it is. So it's usually sort of middle of the day here. So we're sort of primed for watching it. But for whatever reason, like I just sort of woke up this morning and we've got a little group chat of sort of the Australians here and someone had dropped it in. I think they dropped the article in first with the photos and then the trailer dropped afterwards. So I was sort of I was just literally waking up and I was sort of wiping the crust out of my eyes and stuck my headphones on and watched it on my iPad. And I was like, this is really happening.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was great to see him again. I'll have to say that much. See all Ewan in his.
He was just the right balance of young and old. You know what I mean? Like he did look a little grizzled.
He did. He's aged enough to where those age lines are coming in a little bit. He's got a little bit of gray in there. I got more gray than he does. It's kind of depressing because he's probably close to 20 years older than me. And I'm just like, you're just now getting some gray in there, Ewan, and your hair's got full head of hair, you son of a bitch. So, but
and he's a bloody hard living Scotsman too. You think he'd be aging terribly, You meet Scottish people, and they look like hell, and they tell you that they're like 25 and stuff. I was like, man, you've been down an iron brew and deep fried Mars bars and pints and pints of beer since you were 14, and yeah,
man, I'd smoking a carton of cigarettes a day,
Yeah, they're a tough breed. I'm just gonna. I've got it up here. Like we don't need to screen share or anything like that. I'll just talk. If you want to roll with it or anything like that, we'll just sort of talk about it.
There wasn't a lot to it, so
no. It sort of kicks off. Look, and we've got sort of the desert, Tatooine. We're back on Tatooine, and then there's a bit of
always.
Well, I mean that's part of it. Really, is that we'll get to it, but it's essentially Obi-Wan talking about how he's lost. And then he's sitting out on his little porch, and he's looking over the last lampset, and there's Luke Skywalker sitting on the igloo, doing a little bit of brum brum brum. I mean, I don't know about you, but as a parent, I just went, "That's just a bloody unruly kid who's not listening."
Like I told you to get down 3 times.
Owen Lars is not a hard man, all right. He's probably asked 4 times.
Yeah. I've asked him over and over, and they can tell me no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that he's. Uncle Owen's such a bad bloke. I'm like, dude, you don't know. Uncle Owen's just at his wit's end. Like, that's what...
You're spoken. I could tell. I could tell right now. You have no kids, person.
Yeah, person who thinks Uncle Owen is harsh on Luke. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, look, man. I need you to freaking deal with the harvest. You want to go run out and join the military?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep you from that. All right, man.
Starve?
You don't want to be.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, and
you literally go a kilometer away from your house and something will kill you. Okay, like I'm trying to help you here, man. Cut me some slack. You're not even my freaking kid.
You literally have giant sandworms living in your desert. You're
trying to farm in the most dangerous place in the world. I'm trying to farm water in a desert, and you sit up on that freaking igloo, pretend to drive a car. You're giving me shit. Go to your room. Oh, your room's a garage full of cool stuff. Yeah, thanks a lot, Uncle Owen. Yeah, well, real appreciation.
You're not my
there.
dad.
Ugh.
You're not my dad.
Your dad was the whiniest piece of crap I ever met in my life. I met him for 10 minutes. 10 minutes and I got stuck with you, and now he's evil.
He's the evilest dude in the galaxy. He's literally murdering millions of people.
I'm the monster, Rabbi. Yeah.
Have some respect. I'm not even actually your uncle, you son of a bitch.
It's some weird marriage thing. It probably wasn't even legal. My dad just bought her off the street. Like, what does that mean?
Where you should be praising the ground I walk on.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, Kenobi just shows up like, here's this kid, and we're like, what?
It's like, dude.
Yeah.
I just got rid of my parents. My dad. I finally got the place to myself with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
We're like 22. Yeah, are you just going to give us a kid?
Man.
These are the prime years.
We were finally able to walk around naked in peace. And, I mean, it's hot in the desert, and now you bring this kid in here. Yeah. No, we weren't ready for that for another 10 years. Yeah, but like,
Baru wanted it, but I was telling her that it couldn't happen. She was. Where is she going to go?
I got focused on the farm. It's the
only advantage of being like the only guy, of your age around here.
Yeah, especially probably the only attractive one in the area too. But when I saw little Luke on that igloo, the only thing I could think of was try to catch me riding dirty. Like when he was that song I'm talking about.
He's just sort of like a bit of like.
Yeah, that's all I could think of because he's just really getting there, and like people are like, oh, he's like his dad and his power. It's like, oh, I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, that's.
Do you reckon he wasn't blonde enough? Full head of brown hair. I mean, I guess Luke isn't really blonde though, is he? Really?
He was only really
sandy,
blondish in the first one, and then it just got darker and darker. Yeah, so I don't know.
Do you reckon he's gonna like talk and do stuff? Like I think the fetishism of this of the sacred of like Luke is sacred, we cannot I think that's gone post Mandalorian, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Like
no. After you recreate Luke digitally, it's done.
Would it be weird if they go off and like we have a shot and they come up and Uncle Owen walks and he's like, Luke, and Luke's got the goggles on. He takes the goggles off. He's just got that weird CG Mark Hamill face on the front.
Yeah, it's all made from like old photos of him when he's a little kid.
But not even a little kid. No. It's grown up. Mark, like Return of the Jedi one, and he's got that robot voice. He's like, "Hi, Uncle Owen."
Yeah, not even a little kid's voice. Like, aren't you 7? Yes.
I have to go out to the Dune Sea.
I gotta raise my family. Yeah, no, he it's pretty cool, and I like seeing it. And my favorite image I saw though, besides from the trailer, was Uncle Owen staring down the Inquisitor in that still.
Let's move
that
on. We've got the we get the old Lucasfilm logo in the sand, and we get a bit of Jewel of the Fates back.
Oh yeah, God
damn,
yeah.
Turn that shit up.
All they had to do was play that song and show Obi-Wan like walking up a dune, and we would have been happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm actually. Yeah. We'll round about at the end when we get to it, but. And then we get like slick-looking spaceships going into a some sort of ocean base of some Inquisitors, and the key to hunting Jedi. And then we get kind of potato head Grand Inquisitor,
who
looks very weird. Like I know that the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels had a particularly thin head. I don't know whether it's
pencil head.
I don't know whether it's just because he supposedly had a thin head. This guy's head looks like he's got some sort of pudding. He
doesn't look like the Grand Inquisitor. He only looks like him in skin color and the red marks on his head. I don't even know I didn't even see if he had the lines going through his head like he did. But I gotta tell you, everybody's making jokes about it and stuff, and rightfully so. It's one of those things. I don't care.
No, I don't care. I don't. Whatever.
I don't care at all. I'm not watching the Kenobi show because I want to know what's going on with the Inquisitors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know I'm going to see what's going on with the Inquisitors. They're going to be you gotta, if you have Kenobi, you gotta have his blue lightsaber, and you gotta have red lightsabers to go against that blue right. I get it, but I don't care, and I understand from a practical side of things. It probably makes more sense to make them look that way. in live action than to try to mimic.
Yeah.
Plus, he doesn't even plus. I mean, what's the guy? Is the guy who voiced the Inquisitor originally?
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs. Like, if they had gotten him, which they couldn't because of scheduling, I believe, if they had gotten him and just done him up, it would have been fine.
Yeah, nobody would. Even if he had a round head, nobody would have cared. It's just because it's a different dude.
Yeah, his voice sounds different and everything.
Whatever. It's not real. Hey guys, it's not real. It's faking in space, as they say.
If I got upset by every goofy thing we've seen in Star Wars, I would never fucking watch Star Wars. I'm honest. Like there's a lot of goofy stuff in Star Wars, ridiculous stuff. I mean, there's a freaking giant ant in the first season of The Mandalorian, for God's sakes. It looked like he was straight out of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So I mean, it's just
good movie that. Then we kind of cut to there's like a little sort of like Tatooine bus, looks like it's heading towards the city, and there's some voiceover going on, and there's a shot of Obi-Wan sort of, he's sitting in the back of the bus just trying not to make eye contact with anyone, and I thought that was basically just a homage to Ewan McGregor for the last 20 years. Anytime he goes out and people want to ask him about when he's going to do Obi-Wan, he just looks at the ground and hopes that nobody says anything.
Yeah. Well, they kind of I was that you that tweeted that?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I'm sorry. I'm
just recycling my gear on this podcast, mate.
No. I mean, I've done that many a times. But I mean, you may or may not saw my tweet, but you're going to hear me talk about it. But you shared something with that, right? Like it was saying that I forget. I can't remember. Okay, did you share? Did you attach something to that, or would you just?
It was just the photo. Said? Yeah, it's just the photo of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then all credit to you. I thought you quote tweeted somebody saying something like that, and then you said your little speed on top of it. But guess not. Good job.
It's all me. Thank you.
Dust it off.
I don't know whether it's I honestly I don't know how the show's going to go. Hopefully it's going to be really good and it's going to be a hit, but that's not really going to stop. All that's going to happen is that people are going to ask when he's going to come back, especially if it's good.
Yeah.
And especially since we know he doesn't die. He might be going, can you kill me in this? They're like, dude, Obi-Wan doesn't die for another 10 years like you have seen Star Wars. It's like,
you can't erase New Hope, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like, I got another 10 years of this. At least.
I mean, I can see them, people hoping that when he gets a little older, that he would come back and do the short amount of time right before he meets up with Luke and they go on their journey. But I think it'd be kind of poetic if it just ended with this and we got to see that in between time. And I hope it's what they do.
If he wants to say I think he should just be like, I'm done. I've fulfilled it. You've all asked and I've done it. I'm finished. And I suppose at least he can, even if he doesn't say that definitively, at least he can, if he does he's like, oh, well, I've done that. So I feel like it's even if he doesn't believe it or something can happen or whatever, if he wants to turn around and be like, you know what, I'm done. Unless it's sort of, I mean, if it's terrible, people probably won't care as much. If it's great, it probably almost makes it harder, but
I think people are going to automatically give it a plus 50% above what they think it because of Ewan.
Oh yeah,
because
I think
Ewan
came
back.
Yeah,
sure.
And
even if the rest is shit, we're glad we saw Ewan as Obi-Wan again.
Yeah. So what do you want? And it's almost like that sort of, ticking off that thing that everyone's been fetishizing and demanding and saying we've got to have, and it's like, well, once you've got it, either be careful what you wish for or you've got it and life goes on. So don't pin your whole life on getting, and don't harass the guy, he's just trying to do his thing.
Yeah. I forget where he was. He was when he was on one of his motorcycle journeys. He said that he went to somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and there was a painting or an old poster of his prequel era.
He went to Tunisia. He was at at the homestead. And he's with his mate. I can't remember his mate's name that he does all the things with. I've seen that. I've seen that episode when it was on the BBC. And he's just walking around like any other guy. And there's literally a picture of him on the wall. And nobody clicked that it was him, and he just thought it was hilarious because he's just like, I was fully expecting to be doing selfies for the 2 hours when I turned up, but nobody. And he was excited. The cool thing was like, oh look, that's where they did the thing, and that's where they did that. Like he was genuinely excited because he probably spent all his Star Wars time standing in a big blue warehouse.
Yeah, I bet he expressed great gratitude for how this process was and how it was going to go. I mean, even if they were doing a lot of volume work, at least he had something to look at and act off of. That's what he was happy about.
So doubling back onto the thing, we get the little meeting room with the Inquisitors. They've got those funny hats on. They've got the little lightsaber things on the back. It almost looks like it's underwater. Actually, it probably is because that thing was in an ocean. So,
yeah.
We skip along to that. I'm just gonna breeze through this basically, and then we go back to Tatooine where shit's getting real. There's like some dude strung up in front of a crowd.
I think he's being force choked in front of a crowd. That's what I think's what's happening.
Oh, well, I hope that's a little bit less horrific. I'm like, they don't really do public hangings.
She seemed to have her hand up when you saw the feet dangling.
All right, that's a little bit less like you just got some dude hung in the town square, like it's some sort of like medieval kind of thing. And I'm like, that's an interesting move.
Old West.
Yeah, like burn the witch kind of stuff. Yeah, I think you might be right. I didn't even notice that. There you go. And then we get a good look at the new Inquisitor. I've just forgotten the character's name and the actor's name, but she's looking very cool in her all black outfit. And got the mask off as well.
I think she's the third sister or something like that. Yeah, I can't remember her actual name, but I feel like she was one they didn't like. She probably dies in here because they lost. They mentioned in Rebels that they've lost other Inquisitors over time. So I'm guessing she's one of them.
It doesn't bode well. And then we got a good shot of Joel Edgerton, Australia's own, looking pretty good. Looking like he hasn't really aged.
He does. He looks younger than he has recently. I don't know if they fixed him up or what, but he looks more like he doesn't look like he did in the prequels, but he looks closer to that than he has in other stuff recently. Yeah. I guess he also haggers up well, so I mean maybe that's part. You know what I mean? Like if he need him look rougher, he can do that pretty well.
Big tough Australian. Have you seen that movie where he's like a cage fighter with Tom Hardy? His brother.
That's a very good movie.
Yeah, I saw that not that long ago. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
Is it The Warrior?
Yeah, something like that. I'm not a huge UFC guy or anything. It was just sort of like,
either.
It was just like
two
good actors, doing stuff. And then we sort of we sort of cut to looks like some sort of neon city. Could be Coruscant. I think in that article it said there was some other city they were going to or some other planet or something.
Yeah, of course. So. They won't back to Coruscant. I don't understand why. Like I just want to see it, man. Like bring it around.
And then we get another look at the Inquisitor's ship, and then there's a Imperial officer lady strutting around on the desert. No sign of Kamal Ninjani. I was kind of hoping to see him in it, but maybe he is. Maybe he's in a mask or something. Maybe he just walked right past the camera, and I didn't even. I was just like, where was he? And we start getting a lot of faster shots here. There's some action going on again on that sort of neon city. People walking around, some droids and some troopers and things. And then somebody jumping across. So is that Ewan jumping across a ledge or something? I don't know if it's Obi-Wan or if it's an Inquisitor. There's sort of this shot of somebody flying up in the air with some robes flying around. And then we get a nice shot of the Grand Inquisitor doing the old spinny lightsaber. Is he going to take off, Luke?
Everybody's nightmares come true. I have a hard time believing they're going to do that. I mean, they might, and whatever if they do. But it feels like a very much a cartoon thing. You know what I mean? Like it's something you would like you saw it in Rebels. You were like, that's fucking weird. That makes
this feels like Rebels, though, doesn't it? This feels the closest to live action Rebels, just because it's got the Inquisitors and all that sort of imagery.
Yeah, definitely. But I think they. Like I said, with both of the Inquisitors they've shown that we've seen in Rebels, including the Grand Inquisitor, and I believe I can't remember which number brother he is, like second or fifth or ninth. I can't remember. But he looks nobody mentioned, but he looks drastically different than he did in the cartoon. So I mean,
it's all that sort of how do you make this work in when you put a real person's head in there? It's like that Cad Bane stuff all over again. It's like, hey, people's faces don't work like that. Like you can't have this. Like I guess you can fudge stuff with computers to a point, but
I mean, if you wanted to make it all like a all complete CGI character, okay. But like I think they wanted to put in that tangible side of it, and
it costs money, dude. You want episodes? You want 5 episodes? You want 4 episodes? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't. So I'm not against it, and I also think it's a good way to kind of separate it from the cartoons a little bit. Plus, those cartoons are super stylistic, like hyper stylistic. Like I feel like George said he basically wanted them to look like maquettes or puppets or something. He made those cartoons. So you don't want that in live action.
No, you've got Thunderbirds then. Then we got a shot of one of the Inquisitors strutting down the street with his mates. Got a couple of troopers in behind. A couple of ships flying around. Then the Inquisitor again is in Tatooine. She gets the old lightsaber out. Looks like she doesn't have a spinny lightsaber. She's got a traditional red lightsaber. Some titles and
new
stuff.
Recruit,
and then there's a bit of like, oh, there's a message on the wall. There's some sort of something's been scribbled into the wall somewhere, whether that's Ewan doing that or not, and then the Inquisitor facing off, some laser bolts being shot at, and then there's a sort of a shot from above with an explosion and a bunch of, I thought they were butterflies or something, but like birds or something flying out or creatures. I don't know if that's significant at all.
People are saying it's those little convoys, those little owl creatures that usually follow Ahsoka around.
Oh, okay, God, so they're all on the Ahsoka.
But they look more like they're like storks or something. They're like really long. They don't look like owls, but who knows? Maybe they changed that too.
You better get your emails ready just in case.
Get your hashtags.
And then we finish off with a very sort of concerned looking Obi-Wan Kenobi, where you get a good look at the creases on the face, having a little think about, and then staring up at the distance about something. And then we get the obligatory little bit of Darth Vader breathing at the end.
Got to.
So you reckon they'll show more? There'll be another one of these, close to 2? I'd almost be like, you know what? I've seen enough.
I don't think they should, but I think they will. I think they'll do like an official trailer. The fact they said this is a teaser trailer tells me that they got something else coming, and they'll want people to be more hyped up for Celebration and probably announce that Ewan's going to be there and whatever else. And
I was thinking about that. I wonder whether they will. Like I know that being in Los Angeles makes it easier to get people because a lot of famous people live in Los Angeles. So you just pop down on the train or whatever you're doing. But the fact that it'll already actually be out before then, I feel like there'll be a bit more of an Andor Mando season 3 focus. I know Catherine
maybe
messaged
Ahsoka
this morning
as
going,
well.
Hey, you reckon there's a good chance they'll show Andor? And I said there's a very good chance they'll show something just because they don't have to, front load Kenobi because it'll be out. So get your Kenobi. If they were really smart, they'd do a Kenobi exclusive. But
yeah. I mean, but good luck getting them to commit to anything toy wise these days. But the as far as what they would show at Celebration, like I think they would try to get all the people who are currently in television shows, like as many as they can, to come. Yeah. And I think given a chance to have Ewan and Hayden on a panel would be a very attractive thing. So,
yeah.
But they should announce that now instead of like right before it starts, which is what they probably will do. And then
we don't even know what
rushing
panels.
again.
Do they usually
get into the lotteries?
I mean, they obviously have to announce what the panels are beforehand, just because you've got to put your name down for them. But I couldn't remember what they were last time. But yeah, there could be a Kenobi and Andor and Ahsoka, a Mando season 3. What else? Bad Batch, maybe.
Maybe there might be something about the Rogue Squadron movie, which was supposed to come out the end of next year.
Oh God, I wonder if that's still going to happen. Who knows?
Well, they said it was. They re-upped on it recently and said that was happening in a year.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's sort of like, is it just going to feel like TV?
I don't know.
It's that it'll be a really interesting test of like, how does a Star Wars movie compare to a Star Wars TV sort of thing? Like, does it?
Well, and also how people feel about it, right? Because the way George originally viewed these things was as like serialized TV shows, but made into a movie, right? So like from his old Flash Gordon TV shows and stuff. So like it'd be interesting because we would by the time that next movie comes out, we're gonna have all these TV shows that we've been binging and watching and talking about, whatever, and we got really used to how that looks. And then we're gonna get this really super high quality movie. It's gonna look different, whatever. Like, are we still gonna be super hyped for it, or are we gonna be like, man, I kind of like this TV format. I get more story out of it.
Yeah, so we're just gonna rush the story in this now. It's just like, oh well, it's just sort of. I would have liked to have seen that play out, and you'd be like, oh, we didn't really learn about that person or that person, or anyway.
Yeah.
No, good. Kenobi, I'm excited. I was already excited, but it feels like it's been a long time coming. So, and it's not that long. It's what is it? 2 months.
May 25th, yeah, month, two and a half months. Kenobi was my most anticipated series when they announced it. So, and I know people are like, really, why? I'm like, I don't know, because it's Ewan McGregor. I don't know what to tell you as Obi-Wan.
I think that'd be pretty like because it's Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Because people are really really sensitive about everything Star Wars, but also like what Obi-Wan was doing on Tatooine. He's supposed to be doing nothing else but sitting there and staring at the Owen homestead through binoculars for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? So,
well, this is good because it's that was always the thing of like what story are you telling, and it seems like it is. You're kind of having your cake and eating it too, because it seems to imply that he has been staring at the wall for 10 years. So we didn't have to bother sitting through that, so we could actually pick up where something interesting is happening.
But I mean, it's going to be interesting how they incorporate Vader. And since we know the Inquisitors are on the hunt for Obi-Wan now, which just seems, it does seem odd in general, given how they introduced the thought of Obi-Wan and Anakin, or Darth Vader in A New Hope. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting that they hunted him down, and obviously he must have realized they were hunting him. That's why he went somewhere else. That's probably what I imagine.
Yeah,
he knew it. Yeah, so
I always kind of thought that maybe it was the kickoff was that the Empire finally got around to Tatooine. You know what I mean? Like it's a shithole. They're just like, well, 10 years in, we just started poking our noses around there, and that's what kind of started it. And it's like, oh, something's going on here. 150 in the can, mate. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, no, it's good. It's just good to chat. It's a bummer that you're not going to be at Celebration, but we got, we can chat as normal. There's other ways, things could happen. Mm-hmm. But why don't you tell the good people all about your podcast and what you're about?
Okay. Well, as Josh praised and damned, I'm on the Bad Motivators with Eric Struthers and Dallas Wood. We release every Wednesday. We try to talk about Star Wars, but recently sometimes it leads to other things. That's just how life goes, and it's a fun time. And we also have a Patreon where I get to talk about the Beatles and comic books and stuff like that. And if you're like me, I watched Get Back, and it inspired this whole thing to give the Beatles a chance. And I'm glad I did, and I'm glad I have people like you and Frush and Turbo, and of course Tom and Rashad to like go on the journey with me. Like it's been really fun, and now we have that Beatles chat and all other stuff. Like it's been a good time, and it led me to getting back into the bass again. So like if you're interested in hearing about any of that stuff and like hearing us talk about songs, what they mean to us, and hear Rashad and I and Tom argue about the best George Harrison song of all time and stuff like that, and hear their constant little jabs at Paul McCartney. I have to defend him all the time. Then yeah, check that out too. But yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it for having me on.
No worries, dude. Just like dun 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 dun. Oh shit! Dun 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 dun. Fuck! Dun 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 dun. Fuck! Mother. We'll pick it up later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thanks everybody for listening. It's good to be back. We'll I can't make any promises when the show comes back. It comes back when it does. I'd like to get it rolling more close to Celebration, get some friends on as we roll close to the next few weeks, but we'll just see how we go. But yeah, thanks again, man.
Yeah, thank you.
See you soon.